Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Today we will discuss the dark side of North Korea, what they don't tell you. Now before I start the video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel to remain updated on upcoming videos. Let's talk about what we need to talk about. In 2017, Jong Un became in charge of one of the poorest countries in the world, which is so poor that people are about to starve. Many people think that thousands of people will die of hunger in North Korea this year. North Korea always has a shortage of food and medical supplies, which is a long-term problem. Jong Un, the leader of North Korea, can't help his own people unless people from other countries give him money. The terrible way he and his family have been taking care of the country's resources has already caused the deaths of millions of people. Since the beginning of the 21st century, North Korea has had trouble getting out of one food crisis after another. This is because its government isn't very good and its leaders aren't very stable. In 1994, when Kim's father took over as leader of North Korea from his father, the country's agricultural production was falling sharply. Kim is the leader of North Korea right now. The newly installed dictator turned it into a famine that killed up to 3 million people in the end. Since then, there have been severe food shortages all over the country. In 1998, the Great Famine ended. The crops were better than before. All over the world, food aid was still given out. And people in North Korea got used to the idea that they could buy food in private markets. But Kim's rule was marked by a troubling tendency for the same things to happen over and over again. In 2005, the government made it illegal for people to sell grain on their own. Because of this, the country had to rely on the government-run food system again. This led to the start of a second food crisis, though it was not as bad as the first. After the first nuclear test by the military, the governments of other countries stopped helping. This made the situation even worse. Many people think that Pyongyang is exaggerating how hard it is for the country to get food. People know that the country saves grain for its military, even though many peasants in the countryside go hungry. The gulags are another thing to think about. A person who lived through Auschwitz was quoted as saying that the gulags in North Korea are just as bad, or even worse, than the Nazi concentration camps. It is thought that as many as 130,000 people are being held in prison camps across the country. These people were taken away quickly for things like talking about the government. The crimes committed by Kim's administration, which is widely recognized as one of the most restrictive on the globe, were outlined in a study by the International Bar Association's War Crimes Committee. Some of the worst examples of these crimes were shown in the report. The report says that there is substantial evidence that people from Jong Un to lower-level prison guards have and are still committing crimes against humanity in North Korean political prison camps. This was stated in the report. Thomas Buichenwald, a well-known judge on the committee who also lived through the Nazi concentration camp Auschwitz, says that the gulags in North Korea are as bad or even worse than the camps he was held in as a child in Nazi Germany. People who had left North Korea told the committee about some of the horrible things they had seen. Some of these were giving a prisoner's newborn baby to the guard dogs, killing starving prisoners who were caught digging for food on the side of a mountain, and using violent methods to make women have abortions, like injecting motor oil into their wombs. The committee said that it is likely that hundreds of thousands of prisoners have died in the nearly 70 years that the Kim dynasty has been in power. It talked about how prisoners are killed to keep control over the rest of the jail population, how Christians are tortured on a regular basis because officials are told to wipe out the germ of Christian reactionaries, and how thousands of people have been deliberately starved to death. In 2014, the United Nations did an important investigation and found that North Korea's crimes were strikingly similar to those of the Nazis. The International Bar Association's report called itself an unofficial follow-up to the investigation's findings. People pushed for the International Criminal Court or another international group to be given the power to look into Kim's and other state officials' crimes. In North Korea, women are often sexually abused. This is a big problem. Jong Un is from the province of Pyongyang and used to be a trader. She is 40 years old. She worked to get textiles to people in her area, and she sold clothes to market stalls in Hyacinth City. Her main market was her home province, She said that guards would often pass by the market to ask for bribes, which sometimes took the form of forced sexual acts or intercourse, right up until she left the country in 2014. She said that this kept going on until she left the country. She told Human Rights Watch that she had been a victim more than once. When the market guards or police officers needed to, they would ask me to go with them to an empty room outside the market or to another place of their choosing. What do we have to do? They see us as things to play with. We have to do what other people want. At this point in time, women can't live without being protected by strong men. She said she couldn't do anything to stop the abuse or tell anyone about it. She said that it had never occurred to her in her whole life that these attacks could be stopped by doing anything other than trying to avoid situations with them by moving away or being quiet so as not to be seen. Park Young-hee, a former farmer from Ryanggang province who was in her 40s when she escaped North Korea for the second time in 2011, was sent back to North Korea from China after her first attempt to leave North Korea in the spring of 2010. Park Young-hee is also from the province of Ryanggang. She said that after the secret police, Boy Som, let her go and turned her over to the police. The officer who was in charge of questioning her in the police pretrial detention facility, Kuryujang, near Musan City in North Hamgyong province, touched her body under her clothes and pierced her several times with his fingers. She said it happened near the place where she was being held, which was near the city of Musan. She said that he asked her several times about the sexual encounters she had with the Chinese man to whom she was sold when she was in China. He bought her from someone else. She told Human Rights Watch that she did everything he asked of her and told him everything he wanted to know because she thought her life was in danger. What else can I do? Because everything we do in North Korea could be seen as illegal. How other people see your life and how they react to it can have a big effect on your situation. Park Young-hee said she had never told anyone about the abuse because she didn't think it was unusual. She was afraid of the police, and she didn't think anyone could help. In addition to what has already been said, the people of North Korea have to go through a lot of pain. One study says that Jong Un is responsible for most of the 11 crimes against humanity. These include, but are not limited to, murder, extermination, enslavement, forced transfer, imprisonment, torture, sexual violence, persecution, and forced disappearances. The fact that starvation, gulags, and sexual abuse happen on such a large scale shows how much pain North Koreans have to go through every day. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.